I mentioned yesterday that we're going to do a back extension exercise today. So we're going to tackle the Swan Dive today. So it's quite a full back extension, but what's really nice about it, it's dynamic. So I'm going to demonstrate it for you again if you haven't done it before, so you know what you're getting yourself into. And it's a rocking exercise, but it's the rocking exercise where we're lying on our stomachs, we're lying prone. A lot of the other rocking, you're actually rocking on your spine. So a lot of people take strain in their lower back here because they break the shape of the body, okay? So it's really important, I'm gonna demonstrate to you here, that you take yourself into extension and you've gotta hold the shape and then go into your rocking from there. And that's what's going to be protecting your back. The other thing, guys, is when I demonstrate it for you now, I have a very mobile spine, especially my lumbar spine is very mobile, which sometimes isn't great. My lumbar spine is mobile because my hips are tight, or it could be the other way around, you know, it's what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? So my lumbar spine has learned to become very flexible in order to compensate for my hips. So I find this quite easy. For a lot of people, they can't go into that extreme extension. So then I'm going to show you modifications as we go through class today to be able to find the extension that you can actually hold so that you don't hurt yourself, all right? But again, guys, you've got to take responsibility for your bodies. If you can feel that something doesn't feel good, do not force it, all right? So before we start, let me demonstrate this to you. So you are going to be lying on your stomach. So by the way, when we're lying on our stomachs, it's called lying prone. When you're lying on your backs, it's called lying supine, just so you know the difference between the two. So on this particular extension, I teach with the legs apart and external rotation, because the external rotation switches on the gluteals, and the legs apart gives you a lot more mobility around the lumbar spine. And then you take your arms wider apart than you normally would, and a little bit forward. And then we're going to be coming up into extension. You guys know baby cobra. And then what we're doing today is pressing up. So you can see I don't really struggle here, all right? That is our starting position. This is going to be the prep I will teach you. And if you're okay with that, this is what we're going to try.
No.
Sue.
A bit of a stretch and doing sort of a rebound pose so that you have a chance to release it. So,
Renee, I'm just thinking, maybe I should just do the catch up for the open leg walker from yesterday.
We're going to layer this. We're going to build it up so that we're going to warm up the spine, mobilize, we're going to find the connections that we need. And remember that you stop at any level where you're going, that's where I need to be right now. Okay, and then you just practice that level. All right, don't run away.
Renee, just a question. You mentioned that if one can't come high up at the end of the swan dive, that it's perhaps a locked front line. And so you're probably going to do stuff to open up the front line. But what if one can never come that high? Is it still front line?
Yeah, well, very possibly. So what Kathy's talking about is that if the front line of the body, that could be the neck, the throat, it could be the chest, it could be the abdominals, it could be the hip flexors, it could be the quadriceps. If any of that is tight, good luck getting into that extended position. That could actually be inhibiting you and holding you back. You can still do the rocking. It's just going to be a smaller rocking and you won't have time to take your arms up in the air. And so I'm going to be teaching you a modification where you keep your hands down. That first one that I showed you, you just keep your hands down and you do the rocking, but without taking the arms overhead. So yeah, it could be that you will never be able to bring your arms up in the air if that's actually holding you back. All right,
Okay.
but I'll break it down so you can actually see how we layer it. Okay. Fantastic, guys. So please come onto your mat, and we're going to start in a resting position or a child's pose. If you come from a yoga background, you can call it a child's pose. And just open your knees nice and wide, big toes together. Give yourself any of the padding that you need for knees, padding underneath your pelvis. Walk yourself down until you can get your forehead supported either on a block or on a cushion. And then start with your elbows bent, resting your arms completely on the ground. And then just make any adjustments that you need to your position so that you feel completely at ease. And feel free to close your eyes. Start connecting into your breath as we just start our practice, our class this morning. Noticing each inhale and each exhale as it moves through your body. Taking this opportunity as you slow down and pause to actually notice and to feel what is happening with you today. What kind of space is your physical body in? What kind of space is your energetic and emotional body in today? Stay here for just a few more moments. And give yourself permission to move as big or as small as you need to today, and to find the place where you need to hold back a little bit today. No forcing. Taking just one more deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh. And you can allow your eyes to blink open. Just walk your hands a little bit forward on the mat. Spread your fingers out, and then take your time as you draw yourself up onto all fours. Bringing your knees underneath your hips. Bringing your wrists underneath your shoulders. And then start moving into a gentle cat stretch. So start rounding your spine up towards the sky, but only go about halfway into your full position. And then start lengthening your spine, but only go about halfway into your extension. So it's very gentle. Let's just do a few more, very small. Rounding up the spine. And then there is a lengthening and a soft extension of the spine. And gradually as you move, start to increase your range. Start to round your spine a little bit more. So you tuck your tail and tuck your chin in just a little bit more. And then as you lengthen and extend, start lifting your tail, lifting your heart just a little bit more. So this is a wonderful way to start to create mobility through your spine. And start to notice the movement of your scapula. So as you round your spine like a cat, you can feel how your scapula glide wide. And then as you start to arch your spine, and in yoga they call this the cow, notice how your scapula will squeeze together. Let's just take a few more. And notice how you have an opportunity to connect your movement to your breath. Finishing up your last one. And then come all the way back to neutral and pause here for a moment. Tuck your toes under. We're going to just hover the knees off the ground for a second. Stay here just for a moment, finding a connection into all those joints through the body. Noticing the weight bearing on your hands and wrists, noticing the weight bearing around your toes and your ankles. Energy through your crown, energy through your tail, and then on your next breath, releasing the knees down, releasing the feet back. Stay here for a moment, and then start to walk your hands backwards towards your knees. And see if you can sit your hips all the way back towards your feet. Now, if you've got knee issues,